Minus 50. Minus 45 seconds.
Watch enable. GE main power off.
Main power off.
Second stage LH2, secure at flight level.
Minus 30.
Green board.
Minus 25 seconds.
Flight lock-in.
T minus 15.
Igniter's
14. 13.
Rope ignition.
12. 11. 10.
T minus 10,
9,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
4. 3.
We have ignition
2,
of the main engines.
1. 0.
We have liftoff.
Plus 2.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance
water
Delta
activate.
IV Heavy rocket carrying the NROL-49 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. This marks the first West Coast Delta IV Heavy launch.
Okay, we're going to pick up post-lift securing, net 15.
Recovering nicely from the initial launch transients. 40 seconds in. Standing by for the partial thrust command to go to the core booster.
And you are hearing the voice of Steve Agate, and he's providing launch vehicle ascent data.
As we're passing 1 minute and 4 seconds into the flight. Good engine control. Coming up 1 minute 19 seconds. Mark, 1 minute 19 seconds. Now at max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Now at 1 minute 24 seconds. Mach 1. Vehicle now going transonic. Passing 1 minute 32 seconds. Altitude now is 7.8 nautical miles. Velocity 1,677 feet per second. Downrange distance continues to look good. 1 minute 42 seconds in. Chamber holding chamber pressures continuing to look good, holding very well in the port and starboard boosters in the full thrust mode, and in the core, a good core chamber pressure level in the partial thrust mode. Mission events are occurring very, very close to the expected time. Hydrazine system pressurization has now begun on the second stage, passing 2 minutes, 10 seconds in. Engine steering very, very good. Very little movement. Coming up on 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Mark, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Altitude now passing 20 nautical miles. Velocity 3,233 feet per second. Coming up on 2:43. Mark, 2 minutes, 43 seconds. The Delta IV vehicle now only weighs 1/2 of what it did at launch about 2 minutes, 50 seconds ago, as we're expelling propellant at the rate of 4,700 pounds per second. Coming up on 3 minutes into the flight. Mark, 3 minutes in, still looking good. Chamber pressures continuing to hold rock solid on the port and starboard boosters in the full thrust mode, and a good partial thrust reading in the core booster. Engine control continues to look good. Very little movement. Coming up on 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Mark. We have about 1/2 minute before the port and starboard boosters get toggled down to their partial thrust levels. 20 seconds until that event. Altitude now passing 45 nautical miles, velocity 8,600 feet per second. Standing by for the partial thrust command. And we have the partial thrust command. Chamber pressure is now beginning to drop in the port and starboard boosters, leveling out. All 3 boosters now in the partial thrust mode. And we have MECO in the port and starboard boosters. and separation. Core booster now has powered up into the full power mode again.
And we just heard Steve Agate confirm jettison of the port and starboard common booster cores. And the mission continues nominally at this point. Our next event is MECO, or main engine cutoff, and that'll take place a little less than a minute from now. At this point, let's go back to Steve Agate.
85 nautical miles, velocity 14,000 feet per second. Coming up on the 5-minute mark into the flight. Mark, 5 minutes in, about 20 seconds until we expect to go to the partial thrust mode again in the core booster. Okay, now in partial thrust mode in the core, standing by for MECO. And we have MECO. Main engine has cut off. Standing by for SEP. And we have separation. And we have NEDS. The nozzle is deploying, and we have igniter spark standing by for ignition, and we have ignition. Ignition on the second stage. Second stage chamber pressure is beginning to rise. Good chamber pressure in the second stage. Good engine control on the second stage. Standing by for fairing SEP. We have fairing SEP. Fairing has separated.
This is Delta Mission Control, 6 minutes, 25 seconds into the mission. And we've just seen the successful liftoff of the NROL-49 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. And again, this was the first West Coast Delta IV Heavy launch, and all systems continue